Another protest against immigration enforcement began here locally yesterday afternoon at the federal building and continued into the night, and the crowd filled with Portland protesters.
Well, this is different. Typically, I talk about Portland protesters clashing with federal agents, but those protesters decided to head to this federal building in Eugene, Oregon. Okay, so here's the thing. The protesters we're going to be covering are the exact same protesters we see over at the Portland Federal Building. However, the federal agents protecting this federal building, man, they are not messing around, and you're gonna see that here in a second. Now, before we start the video, make sure you guys please like this video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And by sharing the video, that definitely helps others see the videos as well, so let's dig into it.
Another protest against immigration enforcement began here locally yesterday afternoon at the federal building and continued into the night, and the crowd filled with Portland protesters.
And now ICE protests in Eugene have stretched across several months, becoming heated in more recent weeks.
Okay, so just to give you an idea of how far Eugene is from Portland, we're talking about a 2-hour-ish drive, maybe a little longer. So these Portland protesters, they definitely had to travel quite a ways just to get to this protest. Now remember, these are the exact same Portland protesters we cover, and they do not like journalists. So of course, when a journalist shows up to cover them, they're not going to be happy. And the #1 journalist they cannot stand is Katie Davis Court, a friend of the channel, and she captured all of this footage for us, so make sure to please go follow her on X. Now, the federal agents were very nice when this protest started, but you'll see here very soon, it ended pretty bad for a lot of these protesters who were arrested. And again, Katie's been doing this for such a long time. She is quite literally an expert within this field, so she knows the dangers. Whether in Portland or Seattle, and now Eugene, Oregon, these protesters know her. They have her on flyers to stay away from her. They do not like Katie. They have even assaulted her. We've covered that over in Portland. This is why journalists do not cover this story. If you try to cover these protesters, they will follow you, walk up on you, and threaten you. And later in the night, Katie actually once again has to run away to go protect herself because these protesters, again, they just have free reign of the area and the police do not intervene.
You get down!
And by the way, that was the same person who approached Katie Davis Court earlier in the day, telling her to back away and calling her by her real name. All of these protesters know Katie, they don't like her. But one thing I want to point out, you saw how aggressive off the bat these federal agents are. These agents don't have a whole army of federal protective service members like you see over in Portland. So the agents have no choice but to immediately squash the situation and not allow these protesters to control the area, because just like in Portland, the police are not going to be helping out. Now, here's where things get interesting. According to Katie's reporting, she's saying that Antifa was in the area. Many people were questioning her on social media. Well, how would you know that? You can't just call everyone Antifa. Well, Katie also posted this picture to show somebody wrote Antifa was here. So if you ever needed evidence to suggest that Antifa was involved with this protest, I mean, it literally says Antifa was here. So that's what Katie reported as well.
Why are you so fucking in a hurry to do that shit? Why are you spraying people?
So what I'm noticing right here is that these protesters just seem to be shocked. Like, why are you doing this? We're in the street. What are you guys doing? Why are you spraying us? Again, you can see quite the difference as far as how these Federal Protective Service members and ICE agents are dealing with these protesters. You know, over in Portland, it's the long game. You don't want to engage on every single time. Federal agents, technically speaking, when you look at the raw footage, the federal agents in Portland can engage any way they want, considering laws are broken constantly in that protest. But over in Eugene, these federal agents are like, no, we're not even going to play that game. If you break one little law, we're going to engage back.
Why don't you become a real man?
Hey, real quick, if you haven't already, make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can keep you guys up to date with this story. We are already covering Portland, and if you want the most accurate information, you gotta subscribe to my channel because we can cross-reference all of the footage we have, and the journalists that help my channel, you're gonna get the best information here, so make sure to please subscribe. Now, I think you'll find this rather interesting. So at one point, it actually got a little too dangerous for Katie to be in the area. She took refuge in this local bar, which is just across the parking lot. Here is the federal building. But one thing I think you guys will find interesting is that Katie actually interviewed some people at this bar and asked them, hey, what do you think about Antifa? What do you think about these protesters? I wish we had content like this over in Portland because I would love to see what people have to say about those 24/7 protests.
So what do you guys think about Antifa over there?
It seems like the energy's pretty low, honestly. I was expecting a little more. We heard they were out here. We decided to come on out. Like, this bar is a perfect viewing standpoint for that.
Perfect. Did you guys see the arrest?
We saw a couple of arrests. The feds came out. They did their job. Respect that.
It died down very quickly.
It seems like that took all the energy out of them right there. This is...
Yeah, and now they're just gathered, so they're kind of scattered around the building and different...
Yeah, these federal agents, I mean, man, they must have got some intel over from Portland because immediately this entire thing got squashed. I don't know if these protesters expected this would happen.
Spots right now, but this is what's left. I personally came in here because they started targeting me. I was like, oh, I gotta get away. And I heard you guys yelling at him earlier, so I was like, this is a nice safe spot.
No, respect what you're doing. Respect what you're doing because seriously, these people have shown like they can get up to some shit. They can.
Are you guys pro ICE and team feds?
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Pro ICE, yeah.
God bless
it's
America.
tough living in this town right here, but God bless America.
God bless
Appreciate
America.
what you're
God
doing.
Bless
seriously.
Trump. God bless Charlie Kirk.
Yes. Great. Thanks, guys.
You know, it's rather interesting from my perspective. Obviously, I'm a more right-leaning channel on YouTube. We tend to generalize population. So like California, you just think in your head, everyone is a lefty, nobody likes ICE, and even in Oregon. But the more I read my comment section and the more I look at individual testimonies, a lot more people seem to support ICE and the federal workers way more than we think. So again, thank you guys for all your support. Leave your comments down below. The federal agents that I cover in Portland, they watch these videos and they read your comments. So if you guys want to leave a comment for those agents, make sure you do that. Now, this is where I think you'll find this all extremely interesting to say the least. I found a local news report that went to go talk to these protesters. Again, I recognize every single one of these protesters, even by just their voice. I am curious how you guys feel about this local report. It almost seems like they're just minimizing what's happening here, like it's just the norm. Here are the protesters, people getting punched.
Another protest against immigration enforcement began here locally yesterday afternoon at the federal building and continued into the night, and the crowd filled with Portland protesters.
And now ICE protests in Eugene have stretched across several months.
So as they're talking, there's just a guy getting casually punched in the face as if this is normal. How is this normal? How is this acceptable?
Becoming heated in more recent weeks. Now, one moment when things got heated, not between Department of Homeland Security and protesters, but rather a man who was passing by on his bike yelling at protesters before being struck by one of them. Those joining from Portland saying that they've experienced a more intense response from ICE agents up in Portland, from pepper spray to being struck with rubber bullets.
Yeah, and then this just passed right through, like, oh, a guy was riding his bike and then he just got punched in the face. Anyway, these protesters, they said they faced way more resistance over in Portland. To me, this is like one of the most shocking parts of this whole story. I always try to find the local news to really get some more insight because, I mean, they're the experts. They cover this stuff every day. But then you'll see how they interview these protesters. They don't show their face. They just kind of put the camera down, even though they're showing their faces here. And I know who they're interviewing, actually. You guys have seen them before.
August, interactions between Eugene protesters and federal officials escalated. Protesters were visibly seen on video being pushed by DHS officers at the federal building. Demonstrators have told our news crews they're protesting after learning people have gone in for immigration check-ins and are being arrested ahead of relocation and silent deportations.
And again, this is just a random guy riding his bike through and saying, you know, I don't like you guys, I don't support you guys, which is the exact same thing these protesters are saying to ICE, yet they went after the counter-protester. Now, this is what happens in Portland, and I want to give a warning, do not go down to the Portland Federal Building. Don't go down there, don't go and counter-protest, you're going to get hurt. They are not here to work with you. We see that with Katie Davis Court and Honey Badger Mom and Ryan. The other journalists, you know, they get attacked, they get assaulted, but it's their job to do that. If you want to go counter-protest, I'm giving you a warning right now, it is not safe.
We were on scene at yesterday's events. Here's what Portland protesters had to say.
It makes the tactics a little bit stronger, and it makes the thing that we're doing is really in the line of Dr. King, of we're being out here, we're being peaceful, we're antagonizing them, and then they come out and they use a bunch of force on us.
So this protester, which by the way, we have seen their TikTok a million times on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to say their name, but they're saying, you know, we're being peaceful. We're being like MLK. We're antagonizing. We antagonize, and then they come back, and then we show that on video. But to take it even further, we've covered this before over on the Portland side of things. This is a great way on how they generate money, where they will only show one side of the clip, and the local news over in Portland will only show small snippets of the clip, which is why you guys need to subscribe to my channel. Go help out the other journalists. Make sure to like and promote my videos because I'm trying to show you guys the full picture here so you can actually be educated in what's going on here. And by the way, even if you hate ICE, why wouldn't you want the full story out?
And people see that.
According to Eugene police, people were throwing objects at Federal Protective Service agents. EPD's mobile response team is continuing to monitor the area.
Now, as I make this video, it looks like we are getting confirmation that Homeland Security will be beefing up defenses throughout all federal buildings, but specifically ones that probably need it the most. And now that Eugene has been protested, and by the way, don't get it conflated. You are allowed to protest, but when you cross that line, you get put on that designated list of, hey, you're going to get arrested by the federal agents. Check out this clip. Homeland Security wants to start beefing up their presence as far as security with these buildings.
Their language and their inflammatory jack-jawing is not going to stop. So what can you do from a law enforcement perspective to protect everyone, the agents and the people who were brought into custody for deportation proceedings?
Diggin, absolutely. Secretary Noem has ordered that we have enhanced security around our detention facilities and around our field offices across the country. You're right, we're not...
a really big problem for all of these field offices, they're just not made for these massive protests. I mean, when you think about it, it's like, hey, I'm an ICE agent, I'm gonna go do my deportations. On that list of what you sign up for, not at the top is typically riot control or defending your federal building. Now, these agents are trained in that, but still, it's not like at the top of the list of what you're supposed to be doing. And one thing we do cover on my channel, a lot of these federal buildings or these mini outposts, they're not like the Portland Federal Building that's like a mega fortress. A lot of them are small offices, and it only takes about 100 protesters to totally disrupt operations. I mean, over in Chicago, total disaster. Within 2 weeks, the field office had to set up a fence and a barricade to block everyone off because of how the protesters were actually able to control the situation out there. That's not me hating on the federal agents, but they were just not prepared for that to happen. These buildings are not meant for that.
Seeing, despite President Trump, despite Secretary Noem, at DHS for months and months calling for the rhetoric to be turned down. And in light of the political violence we've seen so recently, we have to make sure our officers are extra vigilant. And that's a big part also of our workforce recruitment efforts. There's safety in numbers, and we need our law enforcement to be safe. So we've been recruiting more than 10,000 ICE enforcement officers, and we've gotten more than 151,000 applications. Despite the danger, despite this dehumanizing rhetoric, this dehumanizing rhetoric, Americans are still answering the call to come and join ICE. They know what this mission is about. It's about making our homeland and our communities safer.
And honestly, it's not surprising, considering one of the top things that if you voted for Donald Trump, it has to do with deportations. And if the number one people who are getting attacked out of all the security forces in America, we're up to 1,000% right now, it happens to be ICE agents. So there are a lot of patriotic Americans who see this and are like, hey, I want to join that. I want to get involved with that. It's almost like a military aspect of I'm going to serve my country. And I mean, they are quite literally serving their country. On my channel, we cover these attacks every single day. Every single day, I could play like 5 different videos of ICE agents either getting attacked or threatened online, whether from a lawmaker, whether from an everyday citizen. This is very prevalent, and now, especially after the Dallas situation, it looks like all ICE facilities are going to be on this lockdown type method of procedures, where if you step foot on the facility, even if you're a protester, that's it. No more chances. We got to either arrest you or clash with you to get you out of the way. And by the way, we don't want to see that. We want to see proper protesting. You are allowed to hate ICE, but a lot of times it's starting to go way too far, like we see again in Eugene, Oregon. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to please leave your comments down below, and make sure to please advocate for peace. We don't enjoy what we see, but we have to report what we're seeing so people are aware this is happening. We need to start coming together and have more peace in this country. Thank you guys so much for being here. God bless, and we'll see you all later.